Welcome back, everyone, to episode 22 of Show and Tell. This is just my small adventure of highlighting the different creators and contributors to the Magic the Gathering community. Today, I'm thrilled to be joined, as long as my bad luck does not carry on with us, Reversal Wizrd. Reversal, thank you so much for coming on today.
You know you have bad luck.
I have the worst luck when it comes to like being on people's streams and everything. Like, it's really bad.
I didn't even know it was something real until like the first time I invited you to a game, and like I literally had technical issues.
Yeah,
and it was your fault.
Yeah,
you said it was going to happen, and behold,
I'm pretty sure that was the fifth game I had been invited to play on that had issues pop up that the game had to be canceled, like in a row. So I get all excited, like I get all my stuff set up, and I have this pretty cool streaming set up now, and it's just like, oh, spell table doesn't work, or oh, someone's stuck at work, or oh, like someone's sick, and it's like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll just play Arena for another hour and then go to bed.
My goodness, you need to fix that issue. What is that?
I gotta burn sage or something in my office. Maybe that's what it is, or exorcise the demons. I don't know.
I'm not. I have a friend who's the same way. Like every possible thing that could happen with technology, like I'm like literally my phone has never done that. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And every time he's in that 1% of people that just has like something crazy happen to them.
It's the wrong 1%er you want to be in this world. It's the one who crashes the streams all the time. So yeah, Reversal, Magic creator, streamer. Let's talk about your background. What got you into playing Magic? When did you start playing? All that kind of good stuff.
So my background with Magic, I started when I was younger. I'm not sure the set when I first played. I was maybe 11 and 12 years old. My friends just got some cards one day, and we just started learning to play. We didn't know what we were doing. My actual first set and what I remember playing Magic was like the Khans block. So Khans of Tarkir. So that's what started me on Magic, and I've been playing Magic since then. I think Khans of Tarkir is maybe 14, 15 years old now.
Gosh, it's so wild to think, because I missed the Khans block. Like I missed a big chunk of between. I think part of the thing of being a Magic player is a lot of times like you'll play and maybe you'll leave and come back and leave and come back, and I missed a big chunk between. I think Time Spiral block, and then I came back.
Wow.
Or was that Ravnica? I think the first Ravnica set I collected and played a lot, and then I didn't come back until Dominaria, the first Dominaria. So there's like a lot of that was probably my biggest break. So there's a lot of those sets in the middle that people really like, the kind of Khans, like a lot of the Eldrazi blocks. What's the Gothic werewolfy one?
Innistrad.
Like all those sets, like I did not experience the first time around. So it's and it's crazy to think that Khans was that long ago too. It's wild how long this game has been around.
Oh my goodness! I look at all. I'm like, I've been playing this game for that long.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. There's something about it, right? There's something that you just kind of sit down, you start playing, and it all just like feels right in the world.
I just love how Magic just makes me think. It makes me slow down. Everything in my life is always very fast-paced. Yeah. One thing after the next. Boom, boom, boom. But I sit down and I play a game of Magic, and time just stops. And that's just like the best thing for me. I realize that I'm sitting down playing a game, and it's 4 hours later.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute. Where'd the time go? I got to go to bed.
I got to go to bed. That's funny. You know what? That's actually a really good point that I don't think I've really heard anyone articulate before is, you sit and I guess depending on your play style, but you really want to slow the game down, especially, I know you play a lot of Commander. There's so much going on in the game, right? So if you're not really kind of try to see like, triggers here and like game plan there and, people hold up mana and all this kind of stuff, the level or depth of kind of being aware of the game state can really force someone to really kind of slow down and take a moment, which could be hard in like just in your day to day, like just, you go to work, you do this, do that, you're kind of caught up in things. And it's it's funny to think that, like, and I guess it's really the point of games is to really enjoy the moment, take a step back, and really kind of like focus on the situation at hand. But that's a beautiful way to think about it. I've never really heard it expressed that way, but I like that a lot. It allows you to kind of slow down and really lose yourself in the game, which is, I mean, that's part of the fun. Really, is like get into it. Like, oh yeah, gosh, it's all of a sudden it's midnight. Like, I got work tomorrow.
I gotta get up at like 7 o'clock. Like, I gotta go to bed.
Yeah. So when you started, okay, so cons block, okay, and this is going to probably show how, I don't even know. Did you start with like Commander / EDH, or were you playing like Standard or Modern or something like that?
Okay, so during that time, especially at my local game store, Commander was kind of obscure.
Mm-hmm.
It was the people that sat in the back of the corner that you didn't really kind of like interact with. I think Standard was the big thing at the time.
Uh-huh.
So that's what I started in. Well, I actually started with draft
Okay.
because I didn't have any cards. I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
So I drafted so much in the beginning of my like Magic, I guess, career. And that's kind of where I started. And then I built my first deck. My first deck was a Golgari, like Death Touch.
Whatever.
Hey, I took down some top players.
Hey.
Yeah. Everybody else was casting Ugin and countering spells and doing all this other nonsense, and here I am, just like making 1/1 Death Touch. I attack.
Hey, you all got to start somewhere. I'm pretty sure my first, I wouldn't call it Golgari. I guess it was black green, but like actually it was funny. My first deck was black blue, because I didn't own enough forests to make a black-green deck, which is the deck I wanted to make, and it was all tree folk and crawlworms. Like, that was I loved the tree folk. Redwood tree folk was like my favorite card when I first started playing. I'm pretty sure it's like a 3/6 for like 6 or something silly, and but like that was like, I just, the big trees. Like,
I can block it.
Yeah.
Right, I can block everything.
Yeah,
you can't get through this. What can you do?
Yeah. Gosh, that and like walls. I remember, walls being like super cool. I remember someone had an illusion. I think it was an illusionary wall, and it was like a 7/4, but it had first strike. And it's like, how do I beat that? Like, I don't know what to. I had to. Right. God bless Terror. Terror was like another card that was like a staple of like every deck for years. I played Terror. That was like my favorite card. And
the removal spell, the black removal.
Yeah, one of the black for, I think, destroy target creature. Well, it used to be Bury, which they got rid of Bury, which I think just means it can't be regenerated now. And even that's outdated because they don't really use regeneration anymore. I'm glad. Oh, it's so confusing. I was actually just reading about regeneration the other day on, like, someone was talking like, how does this work? And it's like, if a creature would die, it doesn't. Instead, it gets removed from combat and it's tapped.
Yeah. Right. It's just, that's nonsense. Yeah. That's what it is.
It is nonsense. It's utter nonsense. I don't even know, like, the timing of it seems like, when do you do it? Do you do, because it's, I guess, do they still do the regeneration shield? Is that how it's still? I don't know. It's just a lot.
I'm not even, like, I think you do it, like, whenever the creature takes lethal combat damage or is getting destroyed by removal spell, so.
Yeah. I guess. I think the indestructible thing is a more eloquent way to do what they wanted to do, so.
Absolutely.
So you played a lot of draft. I am really bad at draft. I do not like draft, probably because I'm really bad at it. What about draft? So, do you still draft a lot? Is that something you still like try to do, or is it?
No.
Were you good at draft?
No.
How did you enjoy draft?
Absolutely not. I didn't do well with draft. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Because everybody had so much more experience.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that the people that I was drafting with, they were bad people or anything. They just had so much more experience. So they knew the things to get. Yeah. Like, they would pass me, like, I would just red draft. I'm like, oh man, there's a fetch land. When I finally figured out what a fetch land was, I would take it. Yep. And I'm like, I have a deck, and then it's just like 2 fetch lands and nothing else, and I've lost every single round, but hey. So I don't draft much these days. I'll play a sealed event. I'll like get a pre-release kit or something like that and build a deck on the fly. But me and drafting,
Yeah.
no, it's not my thing anymore.
Yeah, I guess for me, I never played draft like growing up. I guess I just never played it. So the few times that I have, I'm just like, I don't want to have to play a card that's like costs 5 mana and it's like a 2/6 and that's like, oh, that's a good card, which is probably not. I'm being hyperbolic, but like the cards you play in draft, I'm like, I guess this is good in draft, but I'm so used to constructed that you look at these cards, you're like, this is a good card. You actually want to draft, you're going to play this, but obviously I understand the logic of playing of how draft works, but I was like, it's funny because like you could argue that draft a lot of times your pure skill level kind of is on display because you're playing with just limited card pool and kind of what's given to you. But I guess I don't know. I guess it's a lot of like knowing the draft archetypes for a set or a block or whatever they have now, which.
Right. I didn't know there was homework involved.
Yeah, see, I don't know
when
homework.
I started doing like what and like there you see so many channels and like content like that are just based around this stuff, and those videos are like hours long of them reviewing the set and like going over the different archetypes. I'm like, I just want to buy my singles and play the deck that I want to play.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah, I think same. Like, I think there's something to be said about building a constructed deck and kind of knowing the ins and outs of it. It's a different type of skill, right? I don't think it's just like a zero-sum game of like your skill is if you're a drafter or a constructed player. It's it's two levels. So standard. It's funny because I do feel like back in the day, I'm going to say that a lot. I don't know why, but previously, like standard was like
back
in the day. Like I'm like this old ancient guy. I feel like I am sometimes, but but standard was really the like premier format for a while. Like that was kind of I know modern's been pretty popular. Obviously, commander now is kind of like the kind of go-to format for most players. But I can remember like standard was like, oh yeah, standard is like that's where you go to like play. If you're really kind of into it. So. So you did a lot of draft, not a lot of standard though back then. Is that?
And like I would say I drafted for maybe like 6 months, and then once I figured out like buying singles and putting a deck list together, then I just stopped drafting altogether and just played standard from then on out.
Yeah.
And then I learned about the other formats, but it took me a while to it took me maybe another 8 years to like switch formats because I just, once again, didn't understand what was happening. There was a whole nother card pool to learn. So it was just a lot. But from then on, I just started playing constructed formats after I figured out like, this is what I want to be doing.
Yeah. I still don't know what I'm doing or what's going on half the time, so don't feel bad.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah. Are you kidding me? I still don't know what I'm doing to this day.
To this day. Yeah, I usually, drafters, like, respect to them for sitting down, like, to do their homework, hours and hours of video. I'm going to name drop here a little bit, but I had Jamie Topples on a few episodes ago, and she's like a big drafter, and she was just talking about, I look at this thing, but you kind of have to know this and that. I'm just like, girl, can't do it. I just don't.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It is another skill that players, I guess, should have, because what it does and what I've gathered from it, though, it makes you able to think a lot faster on your feet, because you're just like, okay, bam, I got to put this together in a quick amount of time. And I think that's just such a great skill to have for this game that I just don't have.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Yeah. I do think it also teaches you a lot about card evaluation,
right.
Which is, another thing I don't have time to learn how to do. I'm like, that looks pretty good. Like, throw this. I'm looking for fun. I'm looking for synergy. Like, is it good? I don't know, but I'm going to play it,
And it's so hard to evaluate cards now, because this card is great in standard. This card is not great in every other format. This card is amazing in Commander. So it's so many different avenues and different pathways that you have to look at when you evaluate a card now. It's not so much just like, oh, well, this goes into standard. Or, like, it's not so cut and dry. It's not easy.
No, it is not. It is not easy at all. And it's hard too because it feels like it's almost with every new set they kind of keep kind of pushing the power levels on a lot of things, and you finally learn like how one kind of set of cards, and here's a whole new thing to kind of just wash that all away and start over, right?
All right, I got a question for you.
Oh, yeah.
What does Questing Beast do?
It has 3 parts. I probably can get this.
Okay.
It has haste. It has death touch. It has. Oh, is there a third ability? You see haste, death touch. It has it can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less.
Okay.
It has when it deals damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to an opponent's planeswalker of your choice. And I believe it has combat damage, or damage can't be prevented this turn.
You forgot Vigilance.
I knew there was I knew there was another keyword. Gosh, I play that in my Kindred Historic Brawl deck, and I'm like, I could do the Questing Beast thing. People always joke, no, I can Vigilance. I kept going to Lifelink.
Right.
It's not Lifelink. Vigilance, obviously.
See that, and that's what I'm saying. Like cards nowadays, the text on the cards are just like.
Oh gosh. They just had the Commander Masters set come out, right? And then there was the precons, and there's one precon, the Guff, Commodore Guff or whatever.
Commodore Guff.
Right, and there's a card in it, Commodore or Guff rewrites history, and I was looking just at the text box, and it's like every single space in that text box has a character.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just like I was like, oh gosh, it's it's
like, what am I supposed to do with this? This is so much information.
It's ridiculous. I'm like, man, back in my day, a good card was Elf Warrior, 2 green, 2/3. I was like, look at that rate. 2 power, 3 toughness for a 2 mana creature. That's incredible. Like, blew my mind.
Right.
Blew my mind. I would play, back in college or whatever. We would just play like whatever. We had 60 card decks. It was just like the epitome of kitchen top Magic. So I'm like, that's a 4 of in this green deck right here. A 2/3 for 2. Like, how can you beat that rate?
Right. How can you beat it?
Yeah. No abilities, no evasion, no keywords, no that. Just 2/3 for 2. I'm like, yeah, that's a card I want to play.
And now, if you're 2/3 for 2, it's not 1 mana and doing 8 things on turn 1.
Yeah.
Then what game are you playing?
Look at Allosaurus Shepherd. 1 green, 1/1. Then it's like green spells can't be countered. 6 mana, make all your things 5/5 dinosaur. Like, holy cow, man! Like, what is going on?
Like, what is the game that we're playing right now?
Yeah.
But I love it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I love that they're pushing the power level. I want them to keep doing it.
I do.
I'm a degenerate that way.
Yeah, I think sometimes like maybe they shouldn't be so scared to like let things be a little wild. Like unban some more stuff. Like maybe
Unban Oko.
Maybe Primeval
Unban
Titans
Oko.
okay in Commander. Maybe it's not that scary.
Maybe
6 mana, you just get 2 mana. You get 2 lands. Like everyone's rampant already. By the time you're gonna cast it, everyone's gonna have like 27 mana. Like what's 2 more gonna do?
Right.
So okay. Gosh, let's talk about Standard. One more thing on Standard too. Like Standard's hard to keep up with. Like my buddy got me back into Magic when Dominaria came out, and he was really into Standard. So I was like, okay, I'll make some Standard decks, and it's like. It's kind of expensive, right? Because it's kind of the latest set cards. And then the rotation at the time was like, oh, these decks are good for like 3 months, 4 months. Like, not that long, maybe. But it felt like they were constantly going like, oh, I have to update these decks now because Standard rotates, And that was also kind of a thing where it's like, oh, man, this is tough. Like, we eventually switched to Modern for a while because we didn't, non-rotating format. And that's kind of tough, like, to kind of keep up with. I know now I think they've changed rotation to once a year, or 2.
No, I think it's 3. It's your cards in Standard now are legal for 3 years.
3 years, okay, yeah. I mean, I think that's good. I think if they want to push standard as like the premier format, especially competitively, and I think that's smart. I think standard should be like the go-to competitive set format. Excuse me. Three. That's a good way to do it. I think that encourages people to kind of jump into the format and not being like, well, I can make a deck. It's be good for 2 weeks, and then I got to buy a bunch of new cards. So that's good.
So you feel like standard should be the go-to set.
I think I think if Wizards wants, I don't know if they want to do this anymore. To be perfectly honest, if they want a competitive format, I think standard should be like the go-to competitive format. And I think, but like they were. If they seem reluctant. I can say words. They seem reluctant to put.
I can word.
Yeah, I can word. To put money into like Arena, where I think it almost goes hand in hand. Like standard and Arena should be like the way to play the game, and they won't put in a spectator mode. They won't put in like a tournament mode. It seems like there's a very easy path to do that with standard and Arena, and they don't want to do that anymore. After the initial push for a esport kind of scene when Arena first launched, the world will know.
The world will know your name.
Yeah. No, apparently the world won't know because they have just forgotten, kind of moved on to whatever else. So we'll see though. We'll see if the new rotation length helps it at all. But I mean, I guess kind of jumping off what you were hinting at there. I mean, really, Commander is kind of the golden goose, the gilded goose of the game. So talked about how did you discover Commander, and what was the push to kind of jump from that to draft and whatever?
Oh man, oh my. So like I said, we had those people in the back of the shop that would play, and the reason why it was so off-putting for me is because of the way that they carried themselves when they played the game. They were loud, they would scream at each other. I was like, this is not something I want to be a part of. But after playing Standard so much, and then later playing Pioneer, and just amassing so many cards after so many years of playing and set after set after set, I finally sat down and I didn't even buy a Commander deck or anything. I just took some of my cards and I just made a deck. And my friend who just told me about, man, you need to give Commander a try. I know that back in the day it was not what it is today, and I sat down, built my first deck. It was Sarkhan Dragonclaw. It was a teamer deck.
There you go.
Played it, fell in love, and I think that was 3-4 years ago now.
Okay, wow, all right.
I've just been playing Commander ever since. I don't play Commander exclusively. I play all forms of Magic. I will play every bit of Magic that I can.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's a good attitude to have. It's not an attitude I have because I am stubborn, but it's a good attitude to have nonetheless. Yeah, that's I always talk. Longtime listeners of the show, which I don't know if that actually exists for the show, but we're gonna pretend for a minute that
they are.
Yeah, they're there. That's my mom. She listens. She has no idea what's going on, but she does. I'm just kidding. I don't even think she knows I do this, to be perfectly honest. But so I've been playing since Urza block. So I have cards really, really old cards, and for me, being able to find a format where you can use all these old cards in your deck was oh cool, I can play with whatever. And I can remember trying to make, specifically I found the card Starlit Sanctum, which is a land from, what set is that?
I don't even think I've ever heard of this.
I think it's Odyssey. It's you can tap for a colorless, or you can tap. It's a white and a tap, and you sack a cleric, and you gain life equal to its toughness, or you tap a black and sack a cleric, and an opponent loses life equal to his power, or something like that. And I was just this is the coolest land I've ever seen. I want to make a clerics deck. I want to make a deck just based on clerics. And just trying to do it in a 60-card format. And in my head, 60-card formats, you're well, I need 4 ofs to make your draws more consistent, all this and all that. And then I discovered Commander, and it's oh, you can play this whatever, and you have a Commander, and you have 100 cards, and it's singletons. You don't kind of have to worry about oh, I need 4 of this one, whatever, and just kind of shove a bunch of different stuff in there. As soon as I saw that, I was oh, sold, done, I'm in. This is exactly, I'm really into theme decks. I like the idea of like typal, like knights typal or knight themed, or that's my big thing. I
Right.
do a lot of like the creature based kind of stuff because I think I'm a Timmy at heart. I guess that's all. I kind of big creatures go
Same.
boom, like that's
Same. I discovered that.
yeah. So I'm not clever enough for like a combo deck or something, you know.
It's just too much. It's too much because now what do you do when somebody interacts with your combo?
Oh, you lose.
Now you lose,
yeah,
right?
I lose. All right, instant speed, concede. I'm out. Sorry, guys.
Or you have like a bunch of like derpy things on the board or something, and now like you can't do anything.
Yeah.
That's why I'm a Timmy player through and through.
Yeah.
I love to cast my giant 9-mana spell that lets me draw 3 cards and play 3 lands, and it's an 8/8 with trample.
Yep, exactly. Those are fun. Those are the fun cards to play. I don't need a
Right.
Thassus Oracle and Demonic Consultation. Like,
Tell me about it. Like, we get it.
Yeah.
You didn't want to play Magic today. I got it. Listen. Do it. But I embrace it.
Yeah.
Let people play with their cards. If that's what you want to do, then hey, who am I to stop you?
yeah, I mean, like, and actually, I will say, I joke about that, but like, I think it's okay. I think people need to win games sometimes. Like, I think it's okay to, I know,
Right, win the game.
Someone's got to win the game, and like sometimes it's okay. I know you're not supposed to try to win Commander. I know that's kind of the thing, but it's okay. It's okay to try to win a little bit. No, but yeah, I mean, I can imagine too. Just like for me, I think that the social aspect is really cool. Sitting down with 3 people, kind of talking and joking, and the dynamics of interaction is so much different in like a multiplayer game versus a 1v1 person game, right?
Right.
So I could imagine, and I mean, I'm going to be a little forward here, but you seem like a fairly social guy, so I could see how you being able to kind of play with people like would also be a way to kind of draw you in, no?
Oh yes, people love sitting down and playing with me. From what I hear about, I'm like, why? Because I'm just over here being a goofball, not really concentrating. Most of the time when I sit down and play Magic, like I'm just having a good time. Like I may have the answer and all that stuff. I'm just like, you know what? What if I let it resolve? Can I come back? That's the better game.
Yeah,
that's the better. Because if I just have every answer for every situation, then who's having fun?
Yeah, no, that's
I'm not having fun.
No. Yeah, exactly. Like if you could build a deck with 50 counter spells and just counter everything, but that's I mean, some people might enjoy that. Probably more people than not do enjoy that, which that's a whole other deviance. No,
conversation.
Just kidding. Play what you want to play. But yeah, to your point, like if everything was always, if you played every game and every time you played whatever and you always had an answer for anything, where's the fun in that? The fun is I always enjoyed the intricacies of like figuring out what to do to get out of a situation, and it sounds like that's the kind of way you think too. Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly like. I remember one game, like it was just recently, maybe like 2 weeks ago. Like I had 2 board wipes in my hand. The 2 board wipes would have like reset the game and had all the answers and everything. But I was like, you know what? No. Let's just see what happens if we attack.
Yeah.
What just happens? Embrace chaos sometimes.
Embrace chaos. I'm writing that. That's a good quote. Embrace chaos. That's and sometimes that's the right move. Sometimes embracing chaos is how you win games.
Sometimes. I mean, I lose most of the time, but sometimes it works out.
Hey, you know what? Statistically, you're going to lose 75. In a 4-player game, you're going to lose 75% of the games you play. Right? It's
Right. We're having fun.
Yeah.
We're having fun.
I will say, and to kind of hop onto that too. So, you obviously, I bet you on your stream, you stream on Twitch, and again, the streams I've been on are one stream now because again, I'm a bad luck charm.
Yeah, because you like to.
I like to make spell table crash somehow, and everyone's computer stop working, and all that kind of good stuff. I had so much fun on your stream, and that's I think part of the mark of a good stream host is you kind of go on, and it's just like I don't think I've laughed that hard during a Magic game like for a long time. And as someone who doesn't have the ability to I don't really have a play group. I have some friends who I got them a bunch of the those there was kind of like $20 Dominaria Commander starter decks, the kind of
Right.
intro one. So I bought them from some friends for Christmas as kind of like,
Nice.
yeah, they're a couple and they game a lot together. I'm like, well, maybe you guys would be interested. And they're like, they've started playing more, and I can tell they got serious because I was going over to play, and we would just play no sleeves on their table, like old school, the old ways. The old gods were pleased, ruffle shuffling. No, it was like
Oh.
it was like a thing of beauty. But now they finally went out and they bought sleeves and deck boxes for all of the decks. I'm like, oh, you're in. You guys have the bug now. Like you are. This is going to be good for me. But before that, like I didn't have a play group. I don't have one really local. I don't really have a LGS that I go to. So like getting on a stream and just having so much fun, even though you beat us with the Lord of the Rings food pre-con just out of the box, that was a little embarrassing. But it was like I said, I haven't had that much fun in like a long time playing. So first, I'm gonna say thank you for having me on. That was.
Absolutely.
So talk to me about what about streaming kind of got you interested? Like when did you start streaming? When did you decide like, hey, I'm going to start hosting my own games? Like what was the that thought process like for you?
Well, so I met. So I have a friend at my local game store. She introduced me to Anna Jane
Okay.
MTG, and then they told me about a new way to play Magic, and this was during the time of COVID and everything else. I was like, oh wow, okay, I didn't know I can play with people as if I'm sitting right next to them, but it's through a webcam.
Yep.
I was a little off put at first. I was like, man, what is this? What is this dark magic?
What is this nonsense? Computers and webcams? Like no, I don't believe it.
So I get the setup and I get everything like started. I am invited to play with Kuro on his stream.
Okay.
And from there, that was all she wrote. I played with Kuro and I was like, man, I could do this. I could actually get into streaming and start somewhere because I just absolutely love playing the game of Magic. Like, I can sit here for hours and do this. So I was like, I can do this. So I did it.
You did.
And I just
You do. You do it.
and I just kept going. And I don't want to stop. I want to go to the wherever. I want to go to the highest, whatever I can get to.
Highest peaks of streaming that are out there.
Right. And I'm so grateful for like streaming because all this, I don't know. Well, I'm going to name drop him anyway because he's one of my good friends. All the streaming equipment and stuff like that, now that I have this computer, these mics and everything, like was all basically donated to me from my good friend Tagback TV. And it's thanks to him that I'm here where I am now. Like, I absolutely owe everything to him. Everything. Because I'm talking this is some pretty expensive stuff, and I am eternally grateful for people's acts of kindness. But it didn't start there because I needed a second monitor, and Lynn V. Frank just sent me a monitor. She sent me a monitor out of nowhere. I'm just like, what? This community, I don't think people realize, like a lot of times when people see on Twitter and stuff, they see the discourse, they see
Yes.
the things up in flames, the fire and brimstone, but what you don't see is those random acts of kindness. And I promise you, those random acts of kindness happen a lot more than the bad stuff that you see or that you allow on your feed. So.
Yeah, I like to espouse the tenets of community on the show. For me, I think that's probably the best part of the game is the community, and the importance of building and fostering a good community. It's okay to kind of cultivate a group or a play group or a community, I think, that you want to be a part of. And, that's, all the people I've had on this show, that I think they are amazing at that. I think they are good representations of the game, of how the game should be played, of how the game should be represented. As someone like you who hosts a stream, like you're someone like, oh yeah, check out, my buddy I work with just started playing Magic. Like we've played a few games. He's like brand new greenhorn, whatever. And he watched me on your stream, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I catch Reversal now. He's on the time. Like he's super funny. Like." And for me, I'm like, I'm glad you watch him because he's someone who I'm like, yeah, you're gonna watch him. Like, yeah, this is like cool. Like the people he's on are always fun. He's funny. He's entertaining. Like, and just he's genuine and he's nice. And like that's kind of what you want your people who kind of represent your game and your community to do and to be. So I think, and to your point, Twitter, X, whatever you want to,
or whatever it's
whatever
called
it's
these
called
days.
today.
I have no idea.
I don't even know. Like, yeah, like the disc, that's kind of the running joke, right? Is the discourse. Like when the Discord starts, it's always just like, oh, like what are we railing against today? And it can you can see, it can get pretty wild. And like you're gonna have bad actors in the community as well. Like that's any gaming space, any space really, right? And I just think it's important to realize that representing the game in a positive way, in an inclusive way, it's really easy a lot of times in, nerd culture, gaming culture, and a lot of different ways. Like it's really easy to gatekeep things, but like this game is for everybody. Like this game, that's why this game exists. It's literally called Magic: The Gathering. It's not Magic: The Gatekeeping, which it can feel like to some people sometimes, but it's really not. And
Yes.
I think a lot of times people can get a little down on the game, but hearing stories like that from you right now is like kind of reminds you like no. I think for the most part, like most of the people in the community are acting honestly and in a positive way. And yeah, and again, I just think your stream is great. People should check it out.
Thank you.
So you've been streaming now, I think, for about a year. Is that what I think we?
Yeah, about a year. It's a little bit over a year now.
Okay. What have you found? I'm always interested when when people talk about like making the jump to streaming. What have you found has been kind of like some difficulties that maybe you weren't kind of prepared for when you first started, or like just because I think Twitch is one of those things that where a lot of people are like, oh yeah, like I could do streaming, or streaming is interesting to me. Like if you had to share some, being a streamer now for a year, like anything that you're like, you wish you knew when you first started out.
For me, it was just being consistent and just there are a lot of days where I'm just like, oh my, I gotta do this, and I'm just like, do I have to? Yeah, you got to. Yeah, you got to. And so consistency was the biggest thing at first for me. I was enjoying it at first. I was like, oh my goodness. But as you like start doing it and you build like, now you got to have a schedule for people to sign up on. And now you have to get your Twitch set up. Now you have to maybe get a Discord. There was so many like different things that I was like, I got to do what?
Yeah.
And my mod, two of my mods, but my one mod, Sadriana, she's like, no, you got to do this now. You got to do this, and you got to have. I'm like, I can't. What do you mean? So
what do you mean? What do you mean?
Like,
what do you mean?
It's just.
What do you mean?
It's so many like things that you need to like have, just like the basic stuff. And I still like my Twitch is like very basic, but I need to like fix it. But technology and stuff for me is just like another language. It is another language. I can't. I try. I try, but every time I try to go fix something, I break 3 other things. So
it can be tough.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's. I don't think people realize how much work goes on behind the scenes as a streamer.
It's a lot.
A lot of it, a lot of people think it's just you turn your webcam on, you hit record or go live, and you go to town. But no, there's a lot to organizing games and setting up a Discord. I mean, gosh, the Discord thing alone, like I look at people's Discords, I'm like, God, this seems like, and especially if you're like even just like a small to mid-sized streamer and you start kind of building a community, that's a lot of stuff to like watch over and have to be in charge of.
Because you have to watch to make sure people are respecting other people.
Yep.
You have to make sure there's somebody in there that's not like treating people like bad or anything, and like you got to make sure people are not posting inappropriate things.
Yep.
So it's just like it's always like you have to constantly, and I'm just like, what did I do? Why did I do this? But I love it. I wouldn't give it up. So I'm here to stay.
That's what I like to hear. And you stream. I mean, you're streaming Monday through. You 3 streams? How many streams a week are you?
It's only 2. I
Okay.
used to do 3, but just life just kind of happened, and I was like, I got to cut it down to just the 2 days.
Yeah.
But then I was also streaming on YouTube with my nephew. So
Okay.
back in peak, I was streaming like 4 days a week while still going to work and everything else, and trying to. It just got to be too much.
Yeah, and that again, another thing to think about too for a lot of smaller streamers, is a lot of people like this is not your full-time job. Like streaming is you have a job, so on top of that, you got to come back and then you got to be a host. You got to I was joking before like I do my intro, but you got to be on, right, and to come back after work. And be like, okay, I just worked all day, and like maybe it wasn't a great day, but now you got to like lead a stream. Like that is emotionally draining.
Yes, it's so much. You come back to it, and you're like, you're so tired from the day. You've already went through your day and dealt with whatever, and then you have to go and now stream, and you have to. I don't ever have to put on because I'm actually happy to like be sitting down to stream and play Magic with people. But sometimes, I just like it takes a toll on you.
Yeah.
Like, goodness gracious. I just want to lay down. That's it. That's all I want to do.
Just have a nap. Just have the nap, and then fires and missiles. Oh gosh, let's talk about old school YouTube videos right there.
Yes, back during the dark days.
I am a little tired. And then have a nap. So, anyways, I do this little show. I do it once a month, twice a month. I mean, there was a point where I was recording and putting out episodes by every 2 weeks during like my peak production, and that's on top. And I was exhausted. I'm like, man, this is a lot.
A lot.
Yeah, and this now, like for me, this, we'll sit down and record maybe like an hour and a half, whatever, and editing now takes like maybe another hour, 2 hours, and that's it. For me, 4 hours every month or every 2 weeks. You're out there streaming, twice a week. That's at least maybe 6 to 8 hours on top of whatever else, and that's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And I want to get into editing, but I'm so afraid and so scared of it because it's so much. Like, you can record something for 2 minutes.
Yep.
2 minutes. It takes you 2 minutes to record it. It takes you another 30 minutes or maybe an hour to edit it.
Yeah. But you know what? If it interests you, everything. So I'm a photographer by quote unquote trade. Like I've done professional photography. I always feel like if I call myself, it feels very pretentious to call myself a professional photographer, but I guess I am /was/were. I don't know.
Hey, you're professional when somebody pays you.
Exactly. So like I got paid to take photos for a while. So like I've for a few years. So like I have that experience. So edit video kind of was kind of an obvious next step. And I'm all self-taught. Like everything I know how to do video editing, it's literally like YouTube. How do I do this? And then you find someone with a 2 minute. You got to find the people with like the 2 minute explanation, not the 10 minutes, because the 10 minutes always like, hello everybody, welcome to editing with Jay today. So I have this excellent video from the Albuquerque hot air balloon parade. It's like just show me how to do the thing. Yeah, so you start small, and as you kind of figure stuff out, you expand your skills. But if it interests you, I mean, I know you said you might be a little technically challenged, but that's okay.
It's only because I don't learn from the just typing it in on the YouTube and all that stuff like that. To me, I mean, yeah, I can look at it and do that, but I want to have a start point and an end point. I want to have like a set of skills that I need to have first, and then get to another point.
Okay.
So that's what I try. That's how I learn. I learned like in a classroom setting.
Gotcha.
So, but every time you try to find a like classroom, it's always behind a paywall.
Yeah.
So I'm just like,
Yeah, I hear you. So you're actually like an organized person, unlike me, who just does everything by the seat of their pants. I just wing everything, and it's probably apparent in most of my output when people actually look at it and go, "What is this guy doing? What is this like crap?"
I would not say I'm organized, because if you see what was behind me and all these cards that are everywhere.
Well, that's just being a Magic player. You just my I tried to clean up my office yesterday, and I literally just like I had one big white cardboard box, like the long box is, and I just got to the point where it's like, instead of trying to organize it all, I just every pile I was like, here's a pile of New Capenna cards, here's a pile of Neon Kamigawa, here's like Modern Horizons 2. I just all shoved it in one box. I'm like, hopefully I don't need anything of these things. Like I'll remember they're in here. I'll put them to the side.
No,
they're gone. I'm never gonna. I put all I did separate all the rares and like mythics from everything. But like that's a Doom box. I'll be like, where the heck is my
exactly?
and get raw, and it's never. I'm there.
And you're gonna always need some common or uncommon that's all of a sudden, because it's busted now, because they printed something new and it's like, oh, it's back in Tempest, or like just like it's way back there, and you're like, I'm not looking for that card.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm not looking for
gone. It's just like there was it's like, oh, there's this common card. It's only 10 cents, but like I know I have it somewhere. And you look for like 3 hours, like whatever. TCG player, 10 cents into $3 shipping, like whatever. It's like my time is not worth.
Like, I'm sure I have some copy of like Pitiless Plunder, like from Ixalan, just buried deep somewhere, and I'm just not gonna find it. I am never going to look for it.
Yep.
It's too far gone.
Might as well pretend that card never was in your collection, because it's never coming up again.
Never.
Yeah.
But that's why you always have to check your bulk, because you just find random things.
Yep. This is very true. Gosh, yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I think just and then it's just piles of like, oh, here's a half started deck here, here's a half started deck there. It's like, oh, this would be a cool idea for something. You put that to the side, and just all of a sudden you're just surrounded.
And that's the thing. So my mind is always racing. But like I said before, I play every form of Magic that I can play. The only decks I don't have right now is I don't have a Pauper deck, and I don't have a PEDH deck. I don't have a Pauper Commander deck.
Okay.
But I play, and my Vintage deck is all proxy. I'm not made of money.
No.
But I have
about that life.
three legacy decks. I have multiple like modern decks. I have multiple Pioneer decks. I have upwards of 20 Commanders decks. Like, I play Magic a lot. And I love it, but trying to find all these cards all the time, it's
I will say you should look into Pauper. Pauper is very fun. I have a few Pauper decks I made. I know the professor is a very big proponent of Pauper. Well, that's some alliteration right there. And then I got into Pauper via Tori of the Vast, another name drop. Look at me go.
Yes.
But I was like, oh yeah, all commons. Like, that's cool. That idea, like that deck building restriction, spoke to me from both the ability to build a deck and from a financial perspective. Like, oh, just come. Though some of those decks now again are kind of expensive because they get busted in Pauper. Like,
Of course, like Pauper. Like I'm a Tron player by like heart. I'm just like, oh, I can play Tron and Pauper. Oh wait. It's very expensive. Never mind.
Do you need Tron lands? I have a bunch of Tron lands if you need some.
I have the Tron lands and stuff.
I have
them.
Because like when I play, my buddies, like that was our, we would play. We played it silly. We'd only have one mine, one power plant, and one tower in our deck because we didn't even think about putting 4 of each. Like that makes a lot more sense,
Thanks.
But because of that, we all have a bunch of like white bordered like old school. Tron, like I had a bunch, and then one of my friends who moved to where is he now? He travels all over the world. I think he's in Hong Kong right now. He basically just gifted me all of his old cards. He's like, I'm not they're in storage. You're probably gonna get more use of them than I will. And I found in the boxes he sent me there was just a baggie, and it was like a sack. It was just Tron Lands. It was just like white bordered Tron Lands. It's like, oh well, I'm never gonna run out of these guys. Like that's cool.
No, I want to build a proper like PDH deck. I really want to do that because I like grindy matchups. I like attacking with creatures and combat mattering and stuff. So I just don't know where to start.
Is PDH? Do you use? It has to be an uncommon commander, right? Because there's
use an uncommon commander and then everything else is common.
Okay, that has intrigued me as well.
We got to get the brewing. We got to build the decks. Let's go.
Hey, you know what? You should try to find. Let's do a stream. If you do a PEDH stream, give me motivation to build a deck. I'll build one. Let's do.
I will.
All right.
Listen, we will make this happen because I'm taking the first week off of the first week of the next month to build some new decks and stuff like that. So that's on the list to build a PEDH deck.
All right. Well, it's on my list now too. All right, we doing this. We're gonna
with it.
All right, I'm in. Too funny. So, okay. So obviously you play a lot of Magic. Maybe too much Magic. You may want to think about. No, I'm just kidding. Never. You should play. You should probably play more Magic if possible.
Listen.
But I also wanted to talk about your family actually has a nonprofit that you do a lot of work with. Is that correct?
Yes.
So I just wanted you to kind of talk about that, and I'd love to hear about that a little bit and see how that what that's about.
We've entered the emotional side of the interview.
Sharp right turn here. That's talk about a transition. That's
yeah. It's fine. If I start crying, it's okay. I'm okay. Trust me.
You wouldn't be the first person to cry on the show, so don't feel bad.
I know.
That sounds bad.
I try not to. I try not to cry.
Hey, you know what? There's nothing wrong with crying. Sometimes
I know.
Sometimes a good cry is like it's good for the soul.
It is. So, in the year 2020, at the height of COVID, April 3rd, 2 days before my 30th birthday, I get woken up by my aunt saying that my younger brother had been shot. By far the worst day of my life at that point. I used to work at the hospital that my brother was transported to when this happened. And because of COVID and because of nobody not knowing what was happening with that disease or anything, I couldn't go back there, even though I knew from the security, from the nurses up front, the doctors, I couldn't go back there and be with my brother in his final moments. But in that same year, I lose a cousin to gun violence. He was merely helping a man fix his car on the side of the road, and people came out of nowhere and just started shooting. It was wild. But the story doesn't even stop there. I lose one more brother to gun violence as he was set up by some family members. He was my stepbrother, but he was set up by his baby mother and one of his cousins. So that year, 2020 is all a blur to me. It's all a blur. But since the first brother's passing in April, my family, my aunt, they decided that they weren't going to take this lying down. So what we did, my first brother had a clothing brand that he was trying to get off the ground. It was called Growth, Elevation, Maturity. That was something that he wanted to do. So when he passed, we took that name and we made it into what it is today. So we do sell some of the clothes and some of the original designs that, that he had, but the major thing that we focus on is gun violence prevention and gun violence awareness. So that same year in 2020, we had our first back to school drive. And since then, we've been doing community events. We've been doing, we've done motivational speaking. We've done toy drives, candy drives. We've done all kinds of things that, that you can think of. But trust me, it's my parents and my aunt. Because if it wasn't for them, I don't know where I would be. They are the backbones of this. They have seeing them able to get up every single day and just take on the day has made me so much stronger. Now I can just get up and nothing kind of bothers me really, because to just see that strength, even after losing so much. My cousin, the second person that was killed, stayed right across the street from me and my aunt. We saw him every single day in the morning. Every single day we saw him. And to walk out this door every day and not see him, sometimes I can't even look across the street because it takes my breath away.
Yeah.
So yeah. That's kind of what we've been doing, and it's been a roller coaster of emotions. It's been a fun ride, and I'm happy that out of our pain and suffering that we can give and be a beacon of light for other people, because we're not done and we're not stopping. I can assure you that.
That's it's a lot, and I can't imagine the kind of suffering you and your family have gone through. That's a lot, and it's such a short amount of time.
It really is.
But I guess there is, if you even want to call it a silver lining, like to see such inspiration come out of such tragedy.
Right.
In some ways, I guess at least there's something to kind of push forward, and it's we're joking about like, oh, you come home and like you don't want to stream and you're tired, and that's funny. But you think about something like a tragedy like this, and for your family to be like, well, no, we're not gonna just curl up within ourselves. We're gonna push forward. We're gonna take this crappy situation and turn it around for something good. And there's obviously not the time to really go into the detail with the problem with gun violence in this country, because it's rampant. It's
everywhere.
It's everywhere, and it's a lot. But the idea of going out to your community, being a source of inspiration from this, I think those are at least steps that can be taken to kind of help try to make a difference. And because even some small difference can maybe save someone's life, right? Just
absolutely. We have seen so many things. We've gotten messages from people, just the thank yous and everything that and we tell people all the time, just reach out to us if you want to talk. Like, we're here to talk. We're here to because it's rough. It's rough. Like this summer, we did a parade for the first time.
Wow.
We partnered up with some people, and we all marched through the city for the month of June. Yeah, June is also Gun Violence Awareness Month, so we marched through the city. But it's just so sad to see that many people. I mean, we're talking 300 people, and that's too many people affected by this. So that's been my family's goal. That's been my goal to stop this, to get people to slow down.
Yep.
And just think, I am somehow, in some way, I am going to merge magic and all of this to get people to slow down and to think. I will figure it out. One day.
I bet you will. I do not doubt that. I do not doubt that. And hey, if you have anything I can ever do to help, be it sit in a stream, be on a stream, even just whatever, you let me know.
I don't know.
Oh, okay, maybe not.
The computer
maybe
may shut down. And
maybe not technology related, but other stuff.
And we're live. Never mind. We're not live. Get him out.
She's like, yeah, sure, true. Yeah, you can help out.
Get him.
What have I done? But yeah, that's it's heavy. I mean, there's no real it's those sort of situations. Just the fact that people deal with them it's like a daily occurrence, right? We see just rampant amounts of gun violence, and it's nice to know there are people out there, voices, trying to take back that,
we're not stopping. I don't care if I just am a head in a jar one day. I won't stop. None of us will.
That is, it's more than impressive. I can't even put into words just what that, hearing that. So, so that, I mean, that being said, what I like to do when I have my guests on is they, pick an organization or charity to kind of make a donation to. So I'll definitely be looking into, making a contribution to your guys' foundation. Just a small sort of way to kind of, reach out on the other side of the country, to be like, listen, you guys, this is, show some level of support in some small sort of way, We
appreciate any and everything. My family, we don't understand all of this, going to go talk to people about this stuff. So this is all very new to us. So any amount of help that we get is always so appreciated. Like, it's wild to just see a community come together for a cause. Like, it's a beautiful thing, and I love it.
Yeah. Well, that's, goes back to talking about the importance of community and what it means to be involved and to cultivate and to be available. I think you show that, you're someone, regardless of what community you're in, your local community, your Magic community, you're someone people can look up to as a, someone to strive to be more like. Like, I want to be more like you. I wish I was more like you. I thinking right now, gosh, I was more like Reversal. And you laugh, but like, it's fun, but it's true. Like, seeing the strength you have displayed just in these past 10 minutes to just come on here and go literally from talking about a card game to basically telling me about the worst day of your life, and to be able to sit here and laugh and joke, and it's man, it's great.
It's tough. It's taken me a long time to. A lot of people like, I wish I can be like you. Like, what you don't see is the dark days of just like me. Just I could just sit here and I can think of something of my brothers and my cousin, and I just break down. I just bawl.
Yeah. I
just bawl. But I know they're doing a lot better. I just know they are.
Yep.
Some strange way.
And I know they'd want you to, go on and keep getting out there and keep living your life and keep laughing and keep smiling, and and I'm sure it'd be easy just to go dark, right? Just sit there and not do, and that's not what they would want, right?
No. We're not doing that.
Nah. You ain't stopping.
We not stopping.
Oh, goodness. All right, Reversal, you have been more than fantastic for coming on. There's one other thing I like to do with my guests. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the magic of video editing. I'm going to pop up my community board and like this. Let's go. It'll pop up. You can't see it.
Okay.
It'll be.
Oh.
I
was like,
it's probably over our faces right now. So yeah, this my fancy editing skills. One little.
Bam.
Yeah, I know, right? So again, we've talked a lot about community today, I said that really fast. We've talked, and got to slow down. Like you said, just got to slow down and
slow it down.
We've talked a lot about community, and what I like to do with my guests is to kind of help support my. Gosh, I'm just all over the place. To kind of help support my guests even after the show is over. I like to kind of give back a little bit. So what I'm going to do is, so the show and tell show, going to subscribe to your Twitch. So that's something just I'm going to maintain now. So even after we're done here, you're going to have that sub for me, and that's just going to be, again, some way that I can kind of keep promoting and keep pushing you forward to kind of keep helping you do what you do, because I think it's great. Like I said, your stream is always enjoyable. It's always laughs and jokes and just Mike got us canceled one day with some of the jokes we threw out there. Nothing too bad, but there might be one day we're like, oh, maybe we should have said that. But
maybe we.
It's like that one's not going in the archives. Yeah, so that's just a little. So that way, it's just a small gesture. So like even after we're done here, it's like, hey, I got you. Just keep it out there, and yeah, we gotta, like I said, PEDH. Like I'll make a deck. We'll get something going, and I'll try not to break the internet next time. Look at me assuming I'm gonna be on your stream again. Next time I'm on your stream, like I'm coming.
Yeah, I mean, you made it. You're like, I'm coming. I'll be there. Don't you worry about it.
Don't you worry. It's coming. I'm gonna call Mr. Spectrum. Hello, Mr. Spectrum. Make sure your routers are working. I don't know. Do you have Spectrum in? What do you have in?
No, we have WoW. We have WoW in Georgia. So.
Hello, Mr. WoW. Make sure the internets are working, please. That's we need this to work.
Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. This is like, since streaming, it's so crazy. Like being involved with Praters for Change and people interviewing me. Like oh my goodness, I am so thankful for all of you. I'm especially thankful for you. This is so amazing, and I'm so thankful for this. So yes, you will be on the show, and get ready for the chaos.
Yeah, we're gonna bring the chaos. Embrace the chaos. I am going to embrace it. If you're ever gonna make merch, there's a shirt right there. Embrace the chaos. Boom.
Embrace the chaos.
You can make those into stickers. You can do all kinds of stuff. Look at that.
But now I got to figure out how to like design. Like I'll let somebody else. I mean, yeah. You know what? I'll figure it out. We'll get some Embrace the Chaos.
Simple. Just go on Twitter. Like, hey, I need someone to design a sticker, and then pay them something, and then sell them and stuff, and that's how it works, right? I think.
That's right. Always support your artists.
Yes.
Always pay them for their time and their talent.
Always, 100%. So that is a good message as well. So.
Yes.
So yeah, Reversal, again, thank you so much for coming on. Like I said, I'll link all of your goodies, your Twitch, Twitter, all that kind of good stuff, your YouTube channel.
Thank you.
I think you have a TikTok as well, I noticed. Could get you on TikTok, all that kind of. There you go. Do some dance.
I don't know do some dancing. I got to start posting again on TikTok. I'm so behind on everything.
There's so many social medias now, man. I posted. So I only do I do my haikus on TikTok, or I do magic card haikus. That's all I do. But I have to post it. I post it on TikTok, and then I go to Twitter, and then I go to Instagram. Oh, then I go to Threads, and then I go to Blue Sky. So then it's like, okay, here's my five things, and it's
it's so much. It's so much.
Yeah.
I can't keep up.
It's too
Please.
much. Yeah, that's why Twitter just needs to not be bad. It's just
right. It needs to, things just. Oh my god. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll post all that. So if you're listening, please check out Reversal. He streams. What are your normal streaming times?
Monday and Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern.
There you go.
Unless subjected to change.
/ Drew breaking the internet.
Or something.
And and if you like this show, feel free to subscribe. Hit that. I guess people say hit that like button. I don't know what that does. Probably something for the algorithm or whatever.
It makes so people can see the video.
Oh, see the video. There's like a bell. No, does anyone ever hit the notification? Is that a thing? I know you can hit.
Yeah, you hit the notifications for when you post a new video.
Oh, is that? That's too much work. Just subscribe, I guess. That'd be cool. Yeah, that's you know, you don't even hit the like button. You can leave a comment, maybe. I don't know. You don't have to do that. That's too much work. Just
Leave a comment.
leave a comment below. All right, everybody. Reversal, thank you so much again, and we'll catch you all next time.
Bye.